Hello and welcome to this special live launch for FanFiAddict. I'm Frasier Armitage, part-time robot, full-time nerd. Welcome to everybody who is joining us live, and special welcome to everybody who's joining us for the party in person here. So we're all here to celebrate, and the reason we're here is because of this man, Stephen Aryan. So Stephen, how's it going?
All right, yes. Very tired. Basically, that's what we're all saying. We're all men of a certain age. We're all very tired, but we're enjoying ourselves, so that's what's important.
Before they come to take us away.
So Stephen, like you got this launch, man. It's like you're launching The Sorrow of the Sea.
There it is, the new book, the paperback, nice and shiny, lovely.
Part 3 of the trilogy.
Yep.
How are you feeling? Like, are you feeling excited about the launch? Are you feeling trepidatious? Like, give me your top 3 words of how you're feeling.
Relieved. Tired. I need another word for tired. Exhausted.
Yeah, exhausted.
Yeah.
Enervated. I'll get my thesaurus out.
Sure. I'm glad the series is done. Yeah. I'm glad the series is done because people can now read the whole thing and they can see the whole story. And it was the most difficult series I've done. So relief in that I don't have to do a lot of research for my next book because it's not going to be historical fantasy. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
No more.
Whatever it is, it will not be historical fantasy.
No. How do they get from there to there? Just however I want. I'll just make it up. Can it be done in 2 days? Sure. Why not? You know, just why not? As opposed to, I have to go and find out now. Hang on. Give me 3 hours.
Using portal magic, they easily cross the chasm.
Yeah.
Do what I did in my first book. I just made a teleporter one of the main characters.
Need to get the other side of the continent. Just nip over, see people, nip back in the same day. I mean, what do you need?
Much easier.
I think we underestimate the prevalence of logistics in our thinking when it comes to like writing fantasy. Just the sheer amount of like moving the things around and going, this is not what you get into writing about swords and dragons and things. It's not so you can be working out like, right, well, if the speed of this is, and then they can't possibly.
And how fast does this mythical being actually go in horses? Because that's the other.
Yeah.
How many miles can it cover in a day compared to a horse? Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What time of year is it?
Yeah.
You know, what are the roads like?
God. I had a literal spreadsheet for the Lost War to keep track of where everybody was day to day, to make sure that they weren't teleporting from one place to another. And I actually had to rewrite a bit of the story at one point because I realized that I had the group splitting up and going in different directions and getting to their destinations at the same time. But one of the trips would have taken 3 days and the other one would have taken a week. So I was like, fuck that up. Gonna have to rewrite that
this
bit.
Is the kind of shit. I'm going to level with you. I have my current work in progress. I have a spreadsheet, which is, imagine like all the colonial marines from Aliens, like listed down the left-hand side. And then kind of Monday morning, Monday lunchtime, Monday afternoon, like what are they doing? Where are they? And then when do they die?
We are definitely like kind of soulmates, mate. Is it color coded? Is it color coded as well? Because mine was color
blocked out, block, and then this one's dead. Great. By Thursday afternoon, I don't need to worry about 3/4 of them. We're down to just these ones. Hashtag spoiler alert.
Sounds good. That sounds good.
And you don't even need to write anything around that. All you need to do is just release that, and that will be like, that'll be perfect.
Well, you can write in the cell like means of death if you want.
Exactly, and then it's up to everybody to figure out who dies first, and then whoever gets it right, sort of, boom. I've been super professional in not introducing Justin and Dave. So for everybody who's watching, welcome Dave and welcome Justin. Hi.
Thank you.
Let's just get some like commenters in. So I think that is basically our band name. So hello, Katie. And Ruth, hello to you as well. Happy launch,
Ruth.
Stephen.
Thank you, Ruth.
So yeah, and of course, spreadsheets for the win. Of course.
Spreadsheets for the win. Where would BB be without them? We be. In this peppermint tea.
Man, it's kicking in early.
Yeah. Wow. I'm going to need 2 more of these.
I've also got the 8 p.m. high has started. It's
frothing pint this is kombucha, in case you think I wasn't hardcore enough.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm getting big into the K's. Now I am a gentleman of a certain age. It's kimchi, kombucha, kefir. That's the other
Kale.
thing.
More kale.
Yeah, kale. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
massive amounts of kale. The world's most
So you're just on the
punishingly
K
unpleasant.
diet. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Your diet is just entirely K things.
Yeah, I mean strictly that and ketamine, but yeah, basically.
And it's
Fair.
it's special K.
Need highs and lows, So
when you run out of sort of like things to eat, are you just going to be like searching for Keanu Reeves, just being like, can I just boil you because I've run out of all the K's? It's like,
I mean, I'm going to level with you, Frasier. I'm kind of trying to do that anyway. He's so wily though. He's so hard to pin down.
Yeah, too breathtaking. That's the problem.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Far too handsome for his own good, that man.
Yeah, I'll get him. He can't outrun me forever. Actually, he probably can have a chronic hip problem. But apart from
yes, motorbike. But apart
he
from
can't outlimp me forever.
You just have to sneak up on him when he doesn't see you coming.
Yeah, he can't like turn his head all the way. So I have to. Yeah, he's got a wide blind spot.
Not after all his John Wick films, yeah.
No, it's apparently that was going back to the Matrix. This true Keanu fact. He got an injury playing, I think, ice hockey. He called it hockey, but I'm assuming it's ice hockey because he's from that part of the world.
Yeah.
And he can't turn his head freely in one direction, so he has to turn his whole body.
Oh wow!
Which I can sympathise with because I too have a neck injury that makes it unpleasant to turn my head. Yeah, but not from hockey, just from being born wrong. But he said as a result, he has to do quite a lot of like whoa, and it said either it makes him look thick, or it makes him look dynamic, depending on the character in the film and how it's done. So he puts a lot. Well, originally going back 25 years to my frame of cultural reference. He said at the time that he thinks that's what's made him an action star. It's the fact that whole body turn instead of going.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Just given this is the Keanu Reeves live stream. Do you know him and Alex Winter are doing theatre? They're going to do like the West End, and I think they're either doing. Someone double check. It's either Waiting for Godot,
yes,
or it's something, or like the Dumb Waiter. The two of them are doing like Pinter play. Just the two of them on stage. I'm thinking,
and Alex Winter's the waiter.
Maybe
do not besmirch thee not.
That sounds like a fever dream. That sounds like the kind of thing you wake up from and go, do you know what I fucking dreamt last night? It was the weirdest thing.
There you go. Thank you.
I was in this theatre and Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter was Bill and Ted.
I mean,
Bill and Ted's excellent Godot adventure. Like, what the fuck?
He's done comics, which I've read, Berserker. He's done the novel with Shining the Evil. Has anybody else read that apart from me?
Yeah, I read it. Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it. I was like, do you know what? It was the perfect blend of the two of them. I just wish that it had a few more woes in it. I didn't have enough woes for me.
There was no woes. No woes. Maybe in the film, because there is going to be a film version of the Book of Elsewhere. So, maybe that's what it'll be. Starring someone remarkably, more than likely Keanu Reeves as the character that looks an awful lot like Keanu Reeves. Which is fine. He created it. So,
Fine. Do you know what?
That's about as self-insert as you can get, really, isn't it?
Pretty much.
It's kind of crazy that they're going to have to CGI all of his head turns in though. That's like, yeah, but no, I too am a Keanu fan. In fact, just before coming onto this, I was watching a YouTube video that told me that in the Matrix, when he wakes up in the thing, spoiler alert for the Matrix.
Those who haven't seen the 1999 film,
yes,
The Matrix.
When he wakes up in the tub in the real world, he shaved his whole body for that, to make himself look emaciated, and lost 15 pounds. Like, if that's not commitment, like, amazing. Stephen, random question for you. If you were going to cast Keanu Reeves as a character in your new book, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably cast him as the Nordic king, who's one of the characters, who I can't actually say any more about without spoiling it, but it's quite an interesting character, quite dynamic, a lot of turning.
Yeah.
At certain moments, a lot of action. I think so.
Amazing. Now I've got to read the book to see, and
there you see. There you go. You see.
Katie is joining in the Keanu love. She's talking about Babes in Toyland.
What's that?
Oh,
Babes in Toyland.
I never saw that.
So apparently it's a terrible film, but it's one that's easy to love. So
hearty recommendation.
I've watched him since Parenthood, so it's not like we're new to the Reeves.
Was he in Parenthood? The Steve Martin one?
Yeah, Diane Weiss. Mm-hmm.
No way.
Way? You walked straight into that one, mate.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I realized what I'd say.
If you've not seen A Walk in the Clouds, that is definitely one that is like on the terrible but amazing Keanu films. He plays a traumatized soldier who comes home from the war to be a traveling chocolate salesman who falls for a lady with a vineyard. That's all you need to know, right? And if you're not hooked by that premise already, then who are you?
What film's that?
A Walk in the Clouds.
To be fair, I've heard of that one, so I couldn't have told you what it was about, but I have heard of it.
That's new to me. Wow.
It's in the same box in my head as that Brad Pitt film, 7 Years in Tibet, which was apparently a bit like 7 years of watching it as an experience. I never bothered.
Talking about apt titles, I want to talk to you, Stephen, about your titles for this series because they've been spot on. But this third book does not sound like a massively cheery film or like cheery story.
The Blood Dim Tide doesn't sound really fun of like pep. I'm just going to say.
That's poetry, man.
Yeah.
They're all poetry. They're all poetry. Yeah. But still, yeah.
But good ones.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
I did have someone say they couldn't find a Judas Blossom in the book and they were quite disappointed. Like they thought it was like a wand or some kind of wizard who's called the Judas Blossom. I was like, not that literal. Don't actually take that literal.
It's just evocative.
A book full of Judas Blossoms, but only one who is the Judas Blossom.
Yeah. It goes all the way back to the beginning. Like someone said, I liked Blood Mage, but there wasn't a Blood Mage in it. I'm like, there wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't named after a character.
Anywho, maybe that's the sort of thing. Like in modern publishing, you'd be made to put up front, like author's note: there is no blood mage in this. It's not a literal blood mage.
There is no Judas Blossom.
Yeah. For those playing along at home, the Judas Blossom can be found on page 362.
The titles are all based from lines of poetry. The Judas Blossom comes from Ferdowsi, Blood Dim Tide. Any name? Everyone knows that one?
Oh, no. I want to say Yeats.
Yes, W.B. Yeats.
I try not to call him Yeats. Just got to remember he's named after the wine bar.
All bar one and Yeats. That's how I remember it.
The Slug and Lettuce
is from another Persian poet whose name escapes me at the moment.
The Slug and Lettuce, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The other pubs are available.
Thankfully.
And also the title of the series. People could ask me, why is it called The Nightingale and the Falcon? There again, it's really, really easy. The nightingale is the national bird of Persia, and the falcon is the national bird of Mongolia. And it's all about Persian Mongolia. That's how easy it is. People are like, where were the birds? In the background, you just didn't see them.
Yeah.
Let's discover that. Discover that.
People are reading it. People are enjoying it. That's all that matters.
I don't get paid extra if they read it or they understand it. So that's fine.
People are buying it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I
feel you don't have to read it. You certainly don't have to like it.
No. I already won. You bought it.
I'm thinking about organising a book burning of my own work. Everyone, quick, buy one and join in. Yeah. I'm joking.
I think Katie feels like the birds are all overhead, but nobody was looking up.
See, this is it. It's perfectly reasonable. In every scene, we never talk about the background bird noise.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's fine.
Sure are a lot of nightingales and falcons around. Anyway.
Mysterious, that. What are the odds?
How many spreadsheets did you have of where the birds were in at every particular point in the story, Stephen?
Lots of color coding and tabs.
Yeah.
Just to kind of...
They're talking about, my bloody world building document has a section on like a flora and fauna that's broken down into multiple subsections depending on like the climate and the biosphere and all of that. What's the altitude? Are we on the plains? Are we in the desert? Are you more likely to see an asp or a viper or whatever the hell? God,
it's a lot of
sake, Dave.
And you get like one line out of it.
That's far too much work. What are you doing, man?
But you know, when you're halfway through a sentence,
that's too much spreadsheet now.
You're halfway through a
over
sentence,
spreadsheeted,
and you like, and they walked past a like. It's done that.
Flowering.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful mulberry. No, and then you spend an age looking at what a mulberry is, and like, surely that's something that your granny's got in her garden. And like, oh no, actually, it turns out loads of these things that exist in granny's garden also exist in like Persian plains environment, which just sort of it's the Tiffany problem again.
Yeah,
like, it's accurate, but it doesn't sound right.
I didn't actually know that was the name of the occurrence, and someone told me recently about the Tiffany.
Yeah,
I thought, certain countries and names and things like that can't be right, and you go back and you go, no, it was right back in the 13th century. So,
but you have to.
I knew what you meant because I know what the thing is with Tiffany and it being like it sounds like it's anachronistic, but isn't. But I have never heard it called the Tiffany problem.
No, neither had I. I was just like, oh, right, okay, that's what it was.
I have a hunch that might be why Pratchett called Tiffany A-King Tiffany. I think he might have been nodding at that, or maybe he just did it for fun. Who knows? Let's ask him. Oh, we can't. He's dead. Yeah.
Awkward.
Rihanna will probably know. Just ask her. Ask his daughter.
She'll just guess.
Let's try and bring down the mood even more from like, no, he's dead.
This is going too well.
I think like the problem with Tiffany would be a great name for a book about the Tiffany problem, right? That would be like I can see it as a
stage show. Wait, no, that's Maria.
Yeah.
How do you solve a problem like Tiffany?
Yeah.
It would have to be a book about somebody like in the wrong time though. Like there's a whole concept there that.
And you know what? There would be no one called Tiffany in it.
It travels back in time to 1800.
It would be a Tiffany from the modern day, right? Who gets thrown back in time and has always been surprised that her name existed so far back in time. But it turns out it's because of her. She went back in time. She goes back. The first Tiffany.
There's no such thing. I'll prove it to you. I'll go then. I'll take a photo and carbon date some stuff. And she goes back. She realizes she's the only Tiffany. I'm like, she can't get back. Oh God, I've done this now.
800 years ago.
Causality. The circle is complete. Ouroboros. Ouroboros. It's all makes sense now.
Is it weird that we're supposed to be making people want to read Stephen's book? I just want to read that one. It's
like... Never mind this.
Write that next. Write that next.
I mean, what's the famous one about the nurse who travels back into Scotland and everyone reads
Outlander.
Yeah, never mind Outlander. What you need is the Tiffany problem. That's the new one.
For fans of Outlander who can live without the shagging.
Yeah, mostly someone going, what? 1800s finding.
I think you have wiped out most of the audience there.
Yeah.
That is potentially the big problem you're going to have to face.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about what your book's about, Stephen? It's been like 18 minutes we haven't actually talked about.
Hey, wait, what are we here for?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a book or something?
Yeah. Keanu and Tiffany in space.
I think I'm going to write that next. To pitch that to my agent, see what she says. She'll love it. Time travel with romance, no romance. Oh, so it's not romanticy. Nope.
No, unromanticy.
Unromanticy.
Only you can get romanticy without the romance. I wonder what you call that. Anyway, Stephen, tell us about your book.
Fantasy, isn't it? So
it'll never catch on.
No. What's my series about? It is about rebellion. It's about a rebel group fighting back against an enormous galactic, Mongol empire without an army, trying to take it apart from within. Imagine Star Wars, but without spaceships or lightsabers. It's that, but in the 13th century.
Awesome.
That's it.
I might read that.
Yeah,
that's good, isn't it?
That's all right. Yeah,
I didn't actually realize that's what I'd done until after I started talking about the Judas Blossom. I just kept going. Someone said, well, "How can you simplify it?" I'm like, it's about a group of rebels, and they don't have an army, so they're kind of fighting back within this huge empire that covers a large portion of the earth. Is one called Luke? Nope. But yes, but there's secret societies, there's politicking, there's war, there's conquest. There's a pope at one point.
Topical.
Oh, who doesn't like a pope?
Yeah. I mean, we were just saying that about Joe Abercrombie's new book. I mean, the timing, the marketing is unbelievable about the devils. I mean, the marketing budget for the timing is just incredible.
I assume that when they got together with Conclave, right, and then had the Pope rubbed
That's
out.
gone to like #1 in all the streamers. It was like, what's a conclave? Go watch the film, explain it clear. All right,
and it does.
What I introduced it the other night, I basically said the man who has his finger on the pulse of the zeitgeist so well that he has just released a book about the Thunderbolts working for the Pope. This is exactly what he's done.
It's true. It's 100% true. Yeah, the Pope's secret demons. And we've got a new Pope.
This is why he gets the big bucks.
Technically more creature commandos than Thunderbolts, but it's close enough.
Here's a conspiracy for you, right? What happens if, right, the Pope actually has been dead many months, and because Conclave was like doing so well, they were like, we've got to hold this back, otherwise it's just going to win everything. And then Joe's heard about it, and he's gone, oh, I know what I'm going to do. It's like they're going to release it then. Yeah. That's when the book's got to come out. I think that's what's happened.
Yeah.
On the blower to the publishers, stop the presses. We have to replace it with something I've just written.
Yeah.
Well, I just need to write in a whole Pope subplot in the background here.
Something with the Pope, a new Pope.
Find and replace, whatever it was. I mean, I had a sort of Pope in my first book, so I could just go and just switch out the word I used for it with the word pape. No one will know.
People, popple. Someone will be fine. Yeah.
The poop.
Yeah.
Not right.
Not right.
That's a whole different thing.
Yeah. Different type of color of smoke.
That's a whole different genre entirely.
How do they know what color the smoke will be when they burn the Pope? I don't know. Yeah.
I saw a great
9-year-old asked me.
Great meme someone had done and saying, what is the white smoke? And it cut to a picture of a bunch of cardinals having beer and a barbecue with sausages, and all the white smoke's just coming off the Barbie. Like, who are we picking next? I don't know. We're drinking their beer and having sausages.
Yes. Anyone want to stop yet? No.
I feel like Katie's just done the original title of Joe's new book.
Wow. Okay.
Oof. Yeah, he probably pitched that and they said, okay, let's tone it down a little, Joe, make it a little bit less liable.
Instead of, we'll swap out the piss fingering for the devils. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all had meetings like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially when it comes to book titles.
Katie is crazy. The piss fingered, unfortunately, is one of mine from the Hunters. One character referred to another as a piss fingered necrophile. But, it's a jest. It's not actually. No, it's not. That character's horrible. This is why my mum doesn't like reading my books.
It's quite a good insult.
Yeah, my mum reads mine, and then she goes, I'm like, you don't like fantasy, so why have you read them? Comments were, there's an awful lot of killing. And I was like, the first book was about a war, so, it's probably going to be.
Famously death-free war.
Famously death-free Battle Mage War.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Everyone just did a really cool light show.
It was just Fortnite, but 13th century. It was fine.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So this is one for the mums, is it, Stephen?
Absolutely, yes. If you like history, you like carnage, you like what else? All sorts of, I'd say romance, but
Outlander without any of the intimate physical contact. Just Outlander as if they shook hands and moved on.
Yes. Definitely not one for mums that want cozy fantasy, I would say. No, not really. Not much cozy about the Mongol invasion occupation. Not really.
I finally finished, after numbers of years, I finally finished Ghost of Tsushima, which is about the Mongol invasion of Japan. So, it's 1274, I believe it's set. Wrong bit of the world, but still bloody Mongols everywhere with their falcons.
And they failed a couple of times. They had like 2 or 3 failed attempts of
it Japan was it's the original what's the first tsunami that has a name that wiped out their fleet as they were coming over, or the rest of their fleet.
I can't remember.
Did it really? What a mad coincidence that is.
And that's what sort of Ghost of Tsushima is sort of pretends that what actually happened was like one guy murdered all the Mongols and during a storm, and that's why their invasion never got any further.
Wow.
Instead of the storm wiped out their fleet.
Amazing.
I don't know. Someone needs to get on Wikipedia and check that, because this is not like fifth hand by the time. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever. What's the opposite of research? That's me. Yeah. Look it up now. I'd rather just half remember it. It really does.
Research takes time. It's much more fun to just make shit up.
You're too busy researching mulberry bushes, Dave.
Well, a little bit. Yeah. This is where all my time has gone, to get maybe a line, maybe half a sentence, maybe. Which then gets edited. It's like, we don't need this, cut for pace.
But I'm not the only one with new books coming out. Dave, your new book is this year, isn't it? The Iron Road? Is it not?
Yeah, so mine are getting gradually slightly further and further behind. I think our first ones came out more or less the same time. And then last year I was a month or two behind you, and now I'm going to be like 3 months behind you. Not that anyone could draw any conclusions from that whatsoever. But yes, the Iron Road is coming out. So I'm going to plug my own stuff because I've got it. That last turning the desk round makes sense. So we had book 1, The Hunters. Came out July 23, and this was August 24. Company of the Wolf. Probably the world's best book ever written. Probably. I mean, I'm not saying for sure, but probably. Part 3, The Iron Road, will be out in September. We've got a final cover for that, but obviously I haven't. And that's all right. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think I'm finishing the series off, and I'm pretty happy with it. Probably not as good as the second book, because it's the best book ever written. Probably. Top 6. But I
think Carlsberg wrote fantasy books.
Probably the best fantasy book. Brackets without any magic or mythical creatures, or just a load of people in a wood. Okay. So
nice.
Book 3, at least they're allowed to come out of the wood, and they're allowed to go on the plains again. The series is called Tales of the Plains, and book 1 on the plains, book 3 on the plains, book 2 in a wood.
Having a rest. Bit cooler.
It's no wonder you had spreadsheets of like the wildlife, and like you got to know so much about woods. There's a lot of like wood heads in
bushes,
trees. It's if you don't get the right level of fungi, you just alienated like all fantasy readers, right?
You will get people coming up to you like they did to me at Worldcon, saying, "I think there's some historical inaccuracies in your book." I'm like, "Yes, yes." This was I'll tell you this was during my signing session. I was sat there. The guy came up at Glasgow, and he didn't have a book on him. And I said, "You can't buy a book." He went, "No, I know." I think he was a steward, and I said, "What is it?" He goes, "I just wanted to say something about your book." And I'm like,
where's this going?
And he came up and told me about a certain particular historical inaccuracy in that period that apparently ruined the book for him. So that was nice of him to share that with me and then walk away.
Wow.
Was it that one of the characters should have been called Tiffany?
No, it was the Tiffany problem for him was the tomato. So that was
oh, no Colombian exchange.
So
put down that pipe, throw that potato out of the window. Yeah, this is where
face says it all. Do that for an hour and then unclench.
Yeah, just like fuck.
Honestly, you know that thing that tapped the sign? It was like fantasy. Says it on the back. Fantasy. There we go.
Alternate history. Alternate history.
I had no problem with the magic.
Entirely. That's fine. Magic is any historical inaccuracies that are bigger than those that have changed. That's totally fine. But the tomato is what broke the camel's back, apparently.
Yeah. Heavy tomato. I think make a game of it if it happens again. Like I think I spotted a historical inaccuracy. But did you spot all of them?
Just how many have you got?
Yeah.
Come back when you've got a bingo card.
I've got a list. Tomato. Oh, yes, the tomato. Come on, work harder.
You should put a tomato into all your future books. That's
on the cover. Every single cover now, I just want a tomato inserted.
No, your next book should just be called The Anachronistic Tomato.
Tiffany's going to take one back to the 1800s and like a rhubarb and a bunch of other things that you can't get in the period.
You boy, get this to Persia by 1274.
Seed them all over the country, and then when it comes back to the 21st century, it's just a complete triffid swamp instead. So anyway, Justin, tell us about your books, because I'm tired of talking.
Oh Lord! It's like we're here to celebrate the launch of your book. Now talk about other books. My face
hurts.
Hi, Adrian, who's in the
yes. I also have a book coming out in August. It's the third one. I'll do the second stage.
Do it. We've got the Lost Wars book
trilogies.
It's not a trilogy. I envy you and your finished series.
Trilogies.
Book one,
The Lost War. Yes.
Book two.
Look at the orange.
The titles get gradually more depraved and unhappy.
So bitter.
Blood-tinned savages.
And the third book, The Damned King, will be out in August 19th.
Nice. Auspicious.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they're not the best book ever written because Dave did that already.
No,
so,
probably.
They might be the nicest coloured spines. I don't know. What do you think?
Those are very nice.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yes.
What's the colour going to be to go like green, orange? Do you know what they're like?
Oh, I know.
Damn King is like an ice blue, which is the end of the book is set in winter, so it made sense.
Okay, that's nice.
Have you got like a planned colour scheme / title for book 4? I didn't know it was a 4-book series as well. I chose to forget.
I did, and unfortunately, we can't use the title I wanted to use. So the working title can't be used because Orbit published a book by the exact same title like 3 years ago.
Bums. Oh dear.
So it was going to be. I can tell you because it's not going to be that. It was going to be The Bloody Throne, but unfortunately, there was a book called The Bloody Throne like 3 years ago.
Can't you call it like The Ruddy Throne? That's...
Ruddy Throne. That's a bit of a step down. It's like going from "fuck you" to go away.
Yeah. Oh hush.
It's not quite as effective, really, is it? It's not that kind of punch. So yes, I put forward an alternative that is actually substantially more vulgar, and I'm waiting to see whether Orbit will accept it or not.
Interesting. Well, I think quite a lot of books have got the word bastard in their titles these days. That seems to be fine. So you could have
they? I had not thought of that. That's interesting.
Okay, watch out for that, everybody. You're a bastard.
Was that hot pink? I'm assuming if you've had ice blue, you're going for hot pink for book 4.
Well, no, it was. I mean, The Bloody Throne. It was going to be red. I told them to keep red for the last book. I was like, do the last book in red because it's going to be called this.
Nice.
And then suddenly it's not going to be called that.
Yeah.
Well, we've all got a book coming out at some point this year, so I think the Tall Authors Club will have to get a minibus and just tour the country.
Yeah,
drive around.
I got mine coming out on the 9th of September, which is going to be Cage of Stars, which was a winner of the Sci-Fi novel writing contest, and then got shortlisted for the Andromeda Award. And I was finally just like, you know what, it just needs to go out into the world. So it's coming out into the world on 9th of September. So
amazing.
Well
done.
Exciting.
Congratulations on the wins as well. That's amazing.
Cheers. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's nice. It's nice to have a book that's already succeeded before it's been released. It's like
that doesn't happen often.
I know, right?
That must be nice.
Yeah, nobody has to buy it, and already I'm like, yay! So that's good. So, whereas you have to buy Stephen's book to make him say yay.
Buy all the books. Buy all of them.
Yeah. And if you haven't read the first two, go back and buy them first, obviously.
Well, you can buy all 3. This is it. No more series waiters. I've got 4 series. Go and buy all of them. This is book 11.
Bloody hell.
Not 11 in a series of 11.
No.
Just your 11th book.
Yeah. Since 2015.
You haven't written The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, now write the book that links all those series together, and then everyone has to go back and read them all. That's the.
I think it's a job for Tiffany again. I can't think.
Well, yeah.
It would tie these different worlds and
prologue,
portal fantasy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Satan's tomato. That'll be the adventures sneaking in everywhere. Joe Abercrombie wouldn't have thought of that.
No, too busy knocking off popes. Just to get tiny book.
Do you know what? It works. It works that way around. He obviously just hired JD Vance to go and do it for him. Just, you know, one of the poison coated glove that he shook hands with.
Well, I mean, it's called trussing, isn't it? Isn't that now the term? So she
it
took out the Queen.
It should be.
Now Vance trust the Pope.
that doesn't work. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an old man. He can't fight you off. Anyway. Sorry, Fraser.
JD Vance hog tying the Pope in my head.
He's an old man. He can't fight you off. Why does my brain go to like, so what weapon of choice would you use if you had to face off against the Pope? Like, I have no idea why.
How many popes are we talking here?
It's like the 100 men in the gorilla thing again, all over again.
But if you think like
100 small popes or one pope, 100 popes.
If you have to have a conclave between each kill, you're gonna be waiting between, aren't you?
Oh, that's very tedious.
Yeah.
Just get bogged down in the administrative side of it.
The film was quite gripping. If every conclave is as interesting as the film was, it could be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I think they'd start speed running it by like 50 or 60 in.
Yeah, they would just be like, next.
Yeah. Well, but did you hear like one reason apparently they keep electing very old people to be popes is because every cardinal, believe it or not, likes the idea of being pope, so they don't want to elect anyone younger than them who might outlive them. So they continually try and put like the oldest acceptable person from the available pool. So with any, they'll die off, and then my turn next. But you think once they've done again 50 or 60 or so, they might be changing that tactic a little bit of like, well, the next guy is just going to get murdered by that tall, angry author.
I like to imagine it's a bit like America's or Britain's Got Talent, where each cardinal comes out and has to audition for all the other ones to do their special talent and be like, so what can you do? I can play the trombone. Keep it short. And then get like 2 minutes. Go next. What are you doing? I'm a ventriloquist.
In the big red button where Abercrombie appears with a scythe.
The reason underneath all of the robes is just the swimsuits for that part of the contest. That's the. It's like
I watched Miss Congeniality at the weekend with child number 2, having like never seen it before, and it did. It was an interesting, considering that film is like 25 years old now, which was a hell of a body blow. But just seeing what is your talent? You must have a talent, and it was baton twirling or doing the. She runs her finger over glasses. That was her talent. Yeah.
There was a film called Pretty Deadly, I think, back in the day with Kirsten Dunst and Denise Richardson, I think. And that's a similar sort of thing. And it was like they have to come out and have a talent as well. And that was very, very bizarre. But someone keeps knocking off all the contestants in that as well. It's a very dark film. It's funny. I enjoyed it.
There's beauty and there's hope. The Catholic Pope. That's what it would be, wouldn't it, for Miss Congeniality? Someone should make that movie. Someone should make the
Pope Star.
Yes, Pope Star, The Rivals.
with Keanu Reeves playing Simon Cowell.
Yes.
Just in this chair.
Instead when he pushes the golden buzzer, bullets just rain down on stage. John Wick. That's it. Got rid of that one. Whoops. Sorry. Next.
Yeah. Abercrombie with his scythe. Yep.
I think Ruth wants us to talk about books. Stephen, it's a huge achievement. Out of your 11 books, so tell us, like, do you think that you'd have been able to write this at the very beginning when you started, or do you think that like those 11 books have fed, like the 10 previous have fed this 11th one? Do you think?
I think when I started in 2015, though 10 years ago now, scary. The market was quite different. I think it was starting to open up to certain things that were beyond more standard traditional fantasy. There's been a lot more of it in the last 10 years, but I think it was just starting back then. I'm not sure how well a 13th century Middle Eastern set fantasy novels trilogy would have appealed back then. self-publishing was very new. It just kind of starting to get off the ground. And like Kindle, that was such a new thing back then as well. And also this was really complicated to do. So I think I had to kind of learn how to write books well, or better at least. Get used to all the deadlines as well, because that's been an interesting challenge over the years. And learn the process. Because even when I had that first traditional publishing contract, I didn't really understand how any of it works until probably after I'd finished the third book. And then you understand how the business works, because you don't really know. You're just kind of like swimming along, trying to keep up until you're like, oh, right, that's done now. Now we have to do another one. And I couldn't have done this trilogy early doors for lots of reasons. I think I didn't have the confidence to write it, or the insanity to attempt something this stupid and complicated. I fooled myself, and you know what? I'll do something even more challenging than the last time. Yeah.
What's the opposite of learning from your mistakes?
I don't know. I don't know. You know, keep do the same thing over and over again and never getting anywhere.
That's called insanity, literally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's that. Let's do that.
That's cool. I think that I'm kind of glad the market shifted and that you've been able to do this and you've been able to like release this kind of book now. Do you think that like your next books, you're going to take stuff that you've learned from this book and it's going to feed into those ones, like the future stuff? Or are you just never going to think of Genghis Khan ever again?
We're all thinking of Genghis a little bit at the time.
Most days he crops up in my mind at least once about the thing of how many children did he actually have? And are we really all 0.01% related to him and all that kind of stuff, their DNA and all that. Yeah.
So Genghis Khan is your Roman Empire, is what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know if I'll come back and do an historical fantasy again. Definitely not for a while, because it was really, really complicated. I did a lot more research for the most tedious and minor things that no one would care about. That even to get to the spirit of history right, I had to do a lot of research. Whereas I can just make shit up when I'm doing it in a second world fantasy, you know. I want to do something where I'm less constrained. Yeah. Just make a lot more stuff up. I'm going with a blank slate. If I did come back to doing something in this era, I'd jump forward a bit probably, so I'm not tied too much to, you know, oh, is that character coming back and that character coming back, and then like now you've just made shackles again, you know, and you've made it even more complicated and I don't really want to do that. So
you want to come forward in time to when you know there was definitely a tomato there.
Potatoes, tomatoes, you know. Tiffany's wandering around in the background, 1800s, baby, something like that. And
when the sky was much more full of birds. That's what you want.
True. Yes.
Did anybody else just actually hear birds as he was saying that?
Yeah.
I sort of thought I heard birds.
It wasn't just me. That's like,
I had to open the window here because it got too hot in my garden office, and we've got like a wood at the back, and the birds just decided to just. But yeah, no falcons, no nightingales. But
you know, this is the kind of dialogue they'd make you cut. You put that in a book. You comment on the actual bird. Like, you notice how many birds there are? Look at all those nightingales and falcons. They'd be like, get rid of this.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that in films where they put the name of the title in the film in dialogue. I'm like, don't say it. Oh, they said it. Stop it. You know.
Man, I sure hate to die hard today. Winks to camera. Yeah. Looks like I picked the wrong day to die. No, I'll keep going forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have just called it Yippee-Ki-Yay and then just like have done with it. You know, that'd have been great. Now, I feel like now you've had your names of your books after poems and poetry. Are you going to find it more difficult to like name your next book? Or have you got lots more poems that you're going to like?
I could keep going on poems all day. One of the reasons I did it was that finding a title for a book, as Justin just proved, is really, really hard in the fantasy space. It's always so king of, day of, night of, sword of.
At the moment, they're all something of something and somethings. But
crown of this and that. You know, so I thought, right, make it related to the period, make it related to something that if you Google it, it'll come up really quickly. And this is the only time since I've been published, I haven't had to change a title for every single book in Australia. Every single other title has changed that I've ever done.
Wow.
So I was like, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah, every single other one has changed.
Wow.
So the Coward was originally going to be a trilogy, and then talking through my agent, I realized it wasn't a trilogy, it was a duology, but it was going to be the Coward's Heart, the Coward's Throne, the Coward's Legacy. 3 ages of man of the same character, 3 different stages, like, Mother, Maiden, Crone. It was going to be young man, older man. Because we haven't got the same 3. But in talking it through, I realized, I don't actually need to do the first one because I'm just talking about it in all the kind of the epigraphs and things and the history of the world. So it became the 2 books, and we changed it from the Coward's Heart to just the Coward. And then the second one was like, Warrior? Yeah, let's do that. So that's what we did. I don't even think I picked it. I think it was the Warrior something else, and we just shortened it to the Warrior. And I was like, fine. So that's what we went with. Have your titles changed? Any of yours?
Yes.
Only the one I was talking about. Only the next one.
It's because you're good at titling.
I had to fight a little bit for the Damned King, though.
Really?
I had to fight a little bit for it. Yeah, because they were like, oh well, people we're worried about how people will parse it. Does it mean that damned king, or does it mean the king who is damned? And I was like, both. That's the. It's like
that bloody.
That's why I picked it, because it has double meaning. Like every one of my titles has a double meaning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You can't be doing that. It just confuses people, apparently.
But there was also it's a spoiler if I give away, but there's a bit of real history that a friend told me when I was telling him I might have to fight for it, and he was like, oh no, you have to keep it because have you never heard of this? And I was like, no, I have not heard of that. And I used that, and I was like, listen, look how perfect this is, this fits it. And he was like, oh yeah, okay, that's pretty good. So nice. Yeah, I had to fight for that one.
That's good. But you kept all yours, Dave?
No. I was originally going to call the first book what I ended up calling the series, which is Articles of Faith. They said that's not going to work. The Black Hawks will name it after the company. Then I waited for them to name the second book, and no one did. So I came up with like 3 suggestions, and they picked one. And then I came back in like 2 weeks later going, no, I've got a much better one. And they're like, sorry, it's too late. We picked that one that you gave us. Like, oh, okay.
Oh.
But in retrospect, actually, that worked better than the one that I thought would have been better. So I'm happy with the Righteous.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
The Hunters was again me going like, I provisionally called it that. I'm sure we can do better. Nope.
Keep that one then.
The Hunters it was. The Company of the Wolf, I originally in my pitch, I was going to call it something else. And indeed, both book 2 and book 3, I pitched them under different titles, but they were like placeholder. We'll come up with something else. And then in the end, the Company of the Wolf was too good a title to miss because of the sort of, again, I mean, it would have been, the company would have been the Company of Wolves were that not a really famous 80s sort of gothic horror film. So it had to be a singular wolf, which I think might have annoyed Richard Swan because his series is Empire of the Wolf. And I'm like, oh, of the wolf, eh? Ooh, that's useful. Sorry, Richard. But yeah, so 80s Angela Lansbury films got there ahead of us both. So we've had to be singular. And yeah, The Iron Road was the title that then became obviously the correct one for the third book, as I was probably planning it, not even writing it. Once I knew what it was going to be about. A road made of iron? Is it for iron? Oh, is it irony?
Does it have a train on it? A train-like device?
Who could possibly put a train into a 13th century Persian Plains analog? I wonder if anyone will come up and ask me about historical inaccuracies.
Maybe.
I think it's going to be about Angela Lansbury with an iron on the road. That's what it's going to be.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There is a character who kind of plays up a bit of blinding incomprehension about what it could mean and how it could work. And yeah, I like to think of them as the audience surrogate. But what?
Maybe we need to all do that to explain our titles in the book. Have a character ask about the thing.
Has anyone seen Tiffany anywhere?
Have you seen the Judas Blossom on the trees anywhere? Oh, it's lovely this time in summer. Oh, yes. I don't know. You know,
everyone, come and see the Judas Blossom.
Come and see the blood-dimmed tide.
Oh,
why?
Betrayed us again.
That's not nice. The Lost War had been out about 3 years at least before a reviewer finally said, like, begrudgingly was like, and all right, Justin, it's a clever title, well done. And I was like, about fucking time somebody recognized. About time somebody said it out loud. Yes, it is a clever title. Thank you.
Probably the best title ever used, but yeah.
So do we all stuff our books with loads of Easter eggs that'll amuse us, and we just wait for someone to find them?
Yeah. I mean, I regularly put the names of other writers as characters in, but you know, just sort of mix them up a bit. So there isn't one obviously called, say, Richard Swan, but there is a fat little pony called Swan.
Which ties in beautifully to Katie's idea that you are creating beef. It's like with Richard.
It's Strange Up North, for those who don't know. That'll be an event in Leeds very soon. A big
less than 2 weeks away. All the cool people will be there, and me.
I like to try and sort of sneak little things because I do a lot of interviews for FanFiAddict on the FanFiAddict channel, which people may be aware of or may not. But yeah, basically what I like to do is sneak something from a chat that I've had with an author into a book. And so from this chat, I'm totally taking a tomato and shoving it in the story that I'm writing now.
And have it be eaten by Tiffany.
Yeah.
What's this?
I'll just have like the greengrocers is called Tiffany's Tomatoes, you know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Or if you're doing like the Aubrey maturing stuff, you have a character like, Tiffany's Tomatoes. Yes.
I put loads of stuff in my. Well, I'll tell you one of them. In The Warrior, there's a great moment, and there's a nod to one of my favorite action films of all time, Predator. The scene with Billy on the bridge, where he's waiting for something, and he's like, the thing is coming, and he calls it out. I've got a moment in the book like that. A character basically says, "You all keep going, I'll wait here," and he's waiting for this thing that's coming. And I'm like, one person spotted it and went, "Is this like a nod to?" There's loads of things like that. There's names of things in the books. The map in The Warrior is stuffed full of things that nobody's worked out until I've told them. And then they went,
maps, though.
Oh, God.
You could have a character who's got an axe and he calls it the chopper. And then it's just like he's separated from it. And then someone's encouraging him to get to the chopper. That would be the ultimate Predator thing, wouldn't it? Because it's like ties in universe. It's like
it's in universe. No, I will not cut it out.
It's in universe. It's in canon. It's fine.
Yeah. You're going to date myself though, because does anyone remember? I'm going to say one of the Shannara books. If anyone read,
yes, I read them. I read
a couple of them.
Garrett Jax. Anyone remember Garrett Jax? He was probably like the coolest fantasy character of I'm going to say the early 90s.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a fairly kind of heroic end, facing off against some unkillable monster at a waterfall, I think, as I remember it anyway. And I was so attached to this character the whole way through because he was awesome. He was a weapon master. And
yes.
This thing appears and it's like, oh, that's the unkillable red hairy beast. Like, yeah, sorry guys, you go on. I'm going to face it and die. And they were like, no, Garrett Jax, no, but the quest. So off they went. And it was like, yeah, and Garrett Jax just, stood on the bridge and faced it. And now you said that, like, oh shit, I think he was doing Billy from Predator in Shanghai.
Wait a minute. See?
Was Predator 88, 87? 86?
Predator 80... 89, I'm going to say, but someone can Google it and find it.
I was going to go 88, so there we go.
Okay, someone Google it for us and tell us when was Predator released.
Yeah.
Yes, someone in the chat.
I asked ChatGPT, but unfortunately it said 2017. What do you know? I guess that's when it was released now.
When was the Predator released? It's like, which one? Like,
oh,
yeah.
I put nods in my books.
I haven't done Easter eggs, but what I have done is a lot of my characters are named for a particular reason. So like I've got a female priest in the most recent book coming out. So I looked up the name of the first woman who was ever made a priest, and I basically took her name and made it into a fantasy name to call my priest that. So
nice.
Like I regularly do that. There's one of my one of the main side characters from book 2 is named after a real person who was like a saint in the village that he is the head of and stuff like that. So I mean, the whole country's based on Edinburgh and its history and stuff. And then in the second book, we go down into the borders. So we've got the Reavers and their whole culture down there. And I've read like loads of stuff has just been lifted from the etymology of places and or famous people from the area.
Nice.
But it's either that or you have to make it all up, right?
I mean, the thing is, I find it more fun to just drop stuff like that and go, hey, well, actually, this is a real person who actually did run that pub in the 17th century, and that's her that's now running it here in my book.
I feel like the main reason to write trilogies is to, in book 3, plan all of your references that are very specific and niche, and then in books 1 and 2 just write like all of the things that will build up that the editors then cannot delete. So like with the chopper line, right, you call that axe the chopper from book 1, right? By the time you get to book 3, they can't take the line out, they just can't do it. But that's the reason you write trilogies, isn't it?
It's in universe.
It's canon now, you can't take it out. It's
well, Terry Pratchett wrote an entire book just so he could do a joke about there's a guy who works down the chip shop. I'd swear he's Elvish.
That's all the one to do with vampires and photographies, and no more of these prints of darkness and that kind of thing.
Yes,
that one. It's just like, oh god, he was so good at those kind of things.
Oh, he could get away with it though. I mean, this is the kind of thing where when I put it in a book, no,
that's too silly.
Red line comment, no.
Yeah.
No, it's always nice when you get an editor, an editorial comment that says "fuck off, Dave." That's always a good. You know you've got it. Yeah.
I've had. Go on.
I was just going to say I knew that I'd got this book that's coming out right when 2 comments in a row about like 2 chapters apart. They were the only comments, and they both just went, "Holy fuck!" And I was like, "Yes."
That's when you know you've got your editor. Yeah, I've had. God, Stephen, why did you write this? I've had that, and then I wrote back and put. This was based on real events, this moment, and I've toned it down. And just like, Jesus Christ, never tell me the real thing. So I did not tell it actually happened.
Fair enough.
That's nasty. If I ever get a comment like that, it's generally attached to the entire manuscript. But yeah.
What is this? Resubmit.
Why have you done this? Yeah. I'm not telling.
What were you thinking? Who is this for?
Lauren turned up.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
It's been the most bizarre and surreal conversation so far. So
I'll tell you what you've missed, Lauren. You've missed that The Sorrow of the Sea is about Keanu Reeves playing a character called Tiffany, who goes back in time to plant a tomato in Persia before assassinating the Pope in time for Joe Abercrombie's latest book.
That's get on the chopper and come home.
Yeah, that's what you've missed.
Yeah,
that pretty much sums it up, right?
Yeah, that's pithy.
Yeah,
100% accurate. That's the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Did you have to do elevator pitches for your books at all? Like either of you? Like try and come up with anything?
No, because I self-published it and then won SPFBO and then got a deal off the back of that. So that was that.
Original query that I had to do for Black Hawks, that was properly kind of milled, and then that mostly got turned into the blurb on the back of the book. Mostly. After that, I wrote a pitch for the Hunters, but by that stage I'd already written the manuscript, so it was more of I've written a synopsis and included the first 3 chapters, and I guess here's a rough paragraph that might be used as a blurb, but that certainly wasn't the meat of it. The book 2 pitch was about a paragraph of like, something like this will probably happen. And then the book 3 pitch was a sentence of like, the trilogy concludes.
that sounds about right.
Yeah. Well, I got myself in trouble with a previous pitch where I planned out in excruciating detail all of the mechanics of how the thing would end, what would happen to every character, where everything would end up, and sent that to the agent. He was like, "Yeah, this looks good," and then sent it to the publishers, and so they got like a 15-page screed of was basically my notes that made sense to. Like the middle part of the book was like events happen, and then the end was all listed out. This, and this, and this, and this, and they were like, "No, we don't. This doesn't look like a good series at all." Like, no, don't actually read what I've sent you. Oh God. Yeah, lesson learned from that. Don't do that again.
I suppose I actually haven't said that.
The trilogy concludes.
I did have to actually write. So at the time when we were pitching. When we got the deal to Orb, we were pitching. I had written book 1, so that was done. I had written the first draft of book 2, so it was easy to write. Well, it wasn't. It was really fucking difficult to write a 1-page synopsis of what was then a 200,000-word book. But I did it. And then for books 3 and 4, they were like half a page each because I was like, I know how they begin and I know how they end, and stuff happens in the middle. But I think more than anything, that my agent wanted to demonstrate that I knew where I was going and I wasn't going to do like a fucking Lost or something.
Yeah. There's always that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna take a leaf out of your book, Stephen. I'm just gonna say it's like Star Wars because that covers everything, right?
But you got to say it meets something else, right? It's like Star Wars meets Miscongeniality.
Yeah. I did the same with my first trilogy, though, when I got my first deal. It was book 1 was finished. I gave them 2 pages for book 2 and like 4 lines for book 3. Weird shit, darker book. That was about it for book 3 until I got to it. They're like, yep, fine. And then I wrote 2 and 3 and off we went. So
I'm feeling like
that reminds me, actually. Sorry, go on.
No, go on, Justin.
I was just going to say that reminds me. I did actually recently, due to a conversation about something else, have to come up with like that kind of a pitch for the Lost War. And what I came up with was, it's like Game of Thrones meets the Avengers if it was made by Oliver Stone and M. Night Shyamalan.
Nice.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Twisted. Weird.
I feel like Star Wars meets Miscongeniality would start by saying a long time ago in a beauty pageant far away, and then boom, Star Wars, and then
Star Wars. Wow.
Right?
Wow.
It's a scholarship program.
Yeah.
A college somewhere far away.
Yeah, that's a little nod to anyone who's watched Miscongeniality recently, like me.
Which is you, basically.
Which is you.
That's you.
You are that. You and your kid are that.
Have you encountered my books? They are basically just full of gags that only I find funny.
We have to keep ourselves amused when we're writing them, and what else we're going to do?
Every so often, I'm lucky enough that somebody else will laugh at them. But that's not really. They're not written with other people in mind.
No, you write for ourselves, and if someone else finds the jokes amusing too, all the better.
Hey, win.
Yeah. This is it. You know,
I like Lauren's approach to pitches. It begins, stuff happens, epic conclusion. I think that's pretty good.
Yes. You're always building to that epic conclusion. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it helps to have a vague idea of what it might be before you start. But you
can work it out as you go on.
Useful.
So speaking of epic conclusions,
well done. Well, very dovetailed. Very good. I like
it. Finally.
Professional.
Finally found the professionalism. It only took an hour and 3 minutes. Thank you for joining us, Stephen. For anybody who wants to get the book, congratulations on it. Where can they find it?
Go and pick up The Sorrow of the Sea, book 3 of 3 of the trilogy. It is done. It's finished. It is out now in all good bookshops. Friday, I'm going to go and sign the special editions at the Broken Binding this week. So they'll be shipping out probably the following week after. So there's photos of the special online, but I've not actually seen them. So I get to hold one on Friday and have a look at that. But yes, it's out everywhere now. Go and buy The Sorrow of the Sea and the whole trilogy if you've not read it. It's that thing of if people are waiting, you don't need to now. Go and do it.
Just go do it. Let's go do it.
Or come up to Edinburgh and see Stephen live on Saturday.
This is true. I will be appearing at Toppings in Edinburgh on at 7:30. Although now we've moved to a church down the road.
Yeah,
along with Gareth Hanrahan and Annabelle Campbell. We'll be talking about contemporary fantasy. There you go.
Yep. Very specific topic.
Very specific, yes. And then later this month, I'm going to MCM on Friday the 23rd, and then I'm going to Leeds in June for about writing historical science fiction and fantasy. That's it. that's my main June, basically.
Amazing. And where can people find you online on your socials?
I'm on Blue Sky and Instagram. That's about it. Yes.
Awesome. What about you, Dave? Where can people find you?
You can get me on Blue Sky, daveragg.com. I mean, that's also my website, and happy coincidence. You can buy all of my books at all the usual places, and I will be at It's Strange Up North in Leeds a week on Saturday. So awesome. Everyone should get a ticket to that and come along.
Yeah. And Justin?
I am also on Blue Sky. I'm justinleanderson.com, which coincidentally is also my website. And I'm on Threads more these days, not because I vaguely like Mark Zuckerberg in any way, but because suddenly people are actually responding and replying, and engagement is good. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so nice. What am I on Threads? I'm Justin Lee Anderson, author on Threads.
We fear engagement.
No, Dave, this is why it's all gone wrong for you, mate.
You tried to doing it wrong.
I want anyone to talk to me.
No.
Oh, I find you perfectly charming. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, I just see Katie's comment. I think we've answered that. Yeah, fixed it. Don't worry.
Don't worry. We'll go back to
service that's been resumed.
We'll revert soon. Don't worry.
So thank you everybody for joining us. In the spirit of Keanu Reeves, can we all just end on a whoa, and then we'll sign off? Yeah, on 3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
Chaos.